Guys, we can have a serious conversation about timing. So all these reality TV shows have completely skewed how long construction actually takes. There's so many times where a homeowner will ask me, oh yeah, the kitchen's gonna take only like 4 to 6 weeks to renovate, right? No. For a full-blown renovation, new drywall, new floors, new cabinets, new everything, it's gonna take 10 to 12 weeks. And that might sound insane, but I've been doing this for almost 20 years. And if you want the level of work that is on this account, on our website, it takes 10 to 12 weeks. Sometimes we'll get a contractor that says, oh, it'll take only 6 weeks. I timed that mess. It doesn't take 6 weeks. It never does. I have yet to be wrong about timing when it comes to a kitchen renovation. So I'm going to tell you exactly why it takes this long. When the contractor is actually ready to work, they don't demo the first day. The first couple of days is usually prep for demo. So they are protecting the floors that you're gonna keep. They're protecting any other spaces that they're not touching. They're getting a dumpster onto site. All those things happen before demo. Then demo actually happens. So that's when they actually get rid of all the things that you don't want in your brand new kitchen. Next is framing and any subfloor prep. So subfloor prep is what it sounds like. It's prep for your new floors. And they have to level things out a bit, change out some of the subflooring. Then they also have to frame. So framing is when they're using lumber to change shell of the space. So if they're taking out portions of the wall, if they're putting in walls, if they're changing where doorways are or windows, all that requires framing. Next is rough-ins. I mean all the things that are going into the walls, your ceilings and floors that involve systems. Systems include your HVAC, so that is heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. So that involves ductwork. Ductwork is the hardest thing to work around just because it can be really big. So they're gonna adjust all of that. They might relocate supply vents and return vents as well. They're also gonna adjust your plumbing, especially if you're moving your sink or your refrigerator. Then they're gonna change the electrical because the location of outlets and lighting is probably gonna change. After rough-ins are done, you need a rough-in inspection. So a lot of homeowners don't think about the actual inspectors. So if your contractor has applied for a permit, which they should, you would have an inspector come to site and check the work. So if you are in a big town or city, they usually have people that are in the office every single day. Depending on where you're located, they can be either really organized or it can be the Wild Wild West. But there's usually more people available. If you're in a small town, there sometimes is an inspector that is available 1 day a week. And if that inspector goes on vacation, your project is now delayed. That has happened on projects that I've worked on. So be aware. Inspector availability influences the timing of your project. Also, you have to hope that you pass inspection, because if you don't pass inspection, that can cause a delay because now the contractor has to fix the thing that didn't pass. Let's assume that this kitchen is going to have hardwood floors. Your contractor would install those next. This is also around the time where the contractor would put in new insulation in the walls, and then you need an insulation inspection. Now we know that the rough-ins are good, the insulation's good, so your contractor can close up the walls. So the first coat of paint can happen. After that, your cabinetry is getting installed. So now we're at the part of the project where you can actually see your kitchen coming together. The drywall's up, you can see your cabinetry. After that is the countertop install. If a client has a meltdown during construction, it's usually around countertop template, because this is the part of the renovation where you can see your kitchen, you can see the light at the end of the tunnel, but it's we're not quite there yet. Fabricator is gonna come in template for your countertops. Now, you've known the layout of the kitchen for a while at this point, but the reason they need the template is because sometimes the walls aren't quite square or there's a weird condition and you don't want a weird gap between the wall and your countertops. So they have to come in template after the cabinetry is all installed. Now, after template, depending on the fabricator, it might take 1 to 2 weeks for your countertops to come in. So the contractor really can't do that much work until the countertops are installed. This is the point where clients get a bit antsy because they feel like nothing's happening, but things are happening, you just can't see it happening because you're not at the fabricator's shop. Your countertops get installed. That's when they can do the backsplash and all the finished plumbing. So finished plumbing is like your faucet. Can't install the faucet until the countertops are installed. This is also a time where door and a window trim usually happens, and now they can do paint touch-ups. And typically this is also when final electrical happens. So your final Light fixtures are gonna get installed at this point. You're getting towards the end of the project here. This is where you're probably gonna have a punch list walkthrough with your contractor, and then they're gonna take care of odds and ends. So you can see how that 10 to 12 weeks can get eaten up very quickly. And there's a lot of things that can go wrong during construction. Things go wrong in every single project. That's just the nature of construction. For example, if your cabinetry order comes in and a cabinet's damaged, you're gonna have to get a replacement. Some cabinetry takes 10 to 12 weeks. If it's custom, it's gonna take longer. If the project's not managed properly, you can get off course very quickly. If you have any more questions about this, please reach out, DM me, or book an info call. That's the best way to get in touch.